Greetings. I'm sure if you've seen the title, you're expecting this to be about a song by Abba. Well, we'll come to that a bit later on. First off, I want to say how wonderful it is when you get these synchronizations across channels. So a big shout out again to Iridology Diagnosis Solutions and also Passing By 33, who have both given you Robert Morse, the Great Lymphatic System. Now, I strongly recommend, doesn't matter which video you go with on this, I've got it in playlists, I'll put the link in the description to both of them so you can either see Robert Morse talking or you can just listen to him talking. I would go for both anyway, because it's about programming yourself. Now what this highlights, it's very much about this title of this video, knowing me, knowing you, knowing yourself. Aha. It is an aha moment. I think by now it should be quite clear. This reality will give you mirrors, opposition, because you need the opposition for, as I've said before, for the bird to be able to fly it needs the opposition of wind, for the fish to swim it needs the opposition of the water. For us to find ourselves, we are presented with various obstacles, so we gain experience. And through the experience comes wisdom. So do listen to this Robert Morse, the Great Lymphatic System, because it will give you a much greater understanding that you don't need doctors, you don't need medicines. I mean, medicine, it is a sin. You were made perfect. It's about, with the, as Danny has said on Passing By 33, it is about self-love, love of higher self. I mean, self, look at that word self. It's implying cells which you are made up of. See the energy of L. With the F, it's the incomplete, so it's reversed, because you don't want to be a sell out for material wealth. I thought the other day about doing the national lottery, and it actually got to the day when for the first time in a long time I actually remembered, and I thought about it and I thought, no, that's going to give me a whole new headache. Do I really want material wealth? Because my first question, if I got a really big win, was how am I going to make that money work that is going to benefit more than just me? Yes, it would in the material world benefit me, and I could certainly do a lot more with it. I don't know, maybe I just go with the flow on that if it feels right, and this is what it comes down to. Go with the feeling, go with the gut feeling. We're trying to get to the root of things, and the way to do that is the empty cup, allowing the Creator to work through you. And beautifully in Danny's latest video, he talks about his car, how it's got a new engine. I'm sitting in a car. Now, have I become the car because I've got this housing around me, this vehicle? Well, I'm within a vehicle. But Danny's car got a new engine. It gave it new life. This is what this spiritual journey is all about. It is finding new ways, breaking the habits, breaking the cycles, breaking the traditions, stopping that serpent eating its own tail. So, things in this reality have an order like an alphabet. It's as easy as A, B, C, D. So let's just stand back from this. Now you've got, in electrical, you've got AC and you've got DC. Now the DC is not alphabetical, but I can tell you from knowledge of this, from working on the railway at one time, the overhead wires, which is AC, is 25,000 volts. The third rail, which is DC, is only between, I think it's 750 to 850 volts. You don't have to generate anywhere near as much power with direct current as you do with an alternating current. The order has been changed. It's not alphabetical. We've got, regardless of the when, because we can get so easily bogged down into the when we're in this reality of time and looking for the when. But basically it's split in two, just like the Bible is split into an Old Testament and a New Testament, a test of the mind. So it's before Christianity, before Christ, which is BC. Going in that order. Now it's wrapped round by AD. Now, most of you will know that as Anno Domini, but I would say it means after deception. So we're going to have a look at this AB. It's very revealing in how it's used. Words like absolute, well, think of, if it's not absolute, it's a solute, it's a solution. Things can be absurd, which by definition is wildly unreasonable, illogical or inappropriate, a bit like this reality of what is being presented. There is the weaponized one word, aboriginal. You have abnormal, deviating from the normal. You have absorption, and so on. So let's take, it's a prefix basically. So if something is normal, the opposite of it is to be abnormal. And offensively, it's like saying the original people, they're aboriginal. It's awful, it's ridiculous. We can get bogged down in whether they were the original people and who has claim over to what. I would just go with the now. Wherever you are is where you are. The world is within, the universe is inside you. This is just an external play anyway. It's just something to play in and something to what's the word I'm looking for? Respond to. So we'll carry on with this. So we can add Ra to Ab as well. Ab obviously seems to be like an opposition, a mirror, as in normal and abnormal. So now when you get to Ab-Ra, it's a girl's name of Hebrew, Arabic or Akon origin. That's rather interesting, Akon, Archon. And it means father of multitudes or mother of many, or a girl born on a Tuesday. So it's quite sort of diversified on what that is supposed to mean. Now you add an M to that and you make Abraham. It now becomes a masculine name of biblical Hebrew origin, meaning exalted father. Now I put a little reference, Genesis 15, 5 and 6. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now towards heaven and tell the stars if thou be able to number them, And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. It's written in the stars, basically. It is in your heavens, through meditation. And he believed in the Lord. I don't like that word. But the Lord is yourself. It's your pineal gland. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. It's about being within, as Danny says. The righteousness is being within. So verse 7 of Genesis 15, and he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit in. Forget about all the names of these places. That's one of these overlays. It's allegorical. It's talking about human physiology. So all this is going on within you. So the Lord that brought thee out of your, basically. And the other note I made here was chapter 17. Where are we? And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. Well, you are walking before the Almighty. The pineal gland is set further back. Now, again, it's not to be taken literally, because it says, and when Abram was 90 years old and 9. It doesn't mean he was 99 years old. We could argue about whether biologically it is possible for a man to conceive children at that age. But the 90 years, it's talking about the astrology, your Saturn return every 30 years. So it's 30 years is when Christ starts his ministry at the age of 30. That's the first Saturn return. The second Saturn return is roughly around the age of 60 and then 90. And it says here, and when Abraham was 90 years old and 9. 9 is the symbol of completion. It's 7 chakras, but it's 9. It's where that fetus has come out like a 6 shape, head downwards, the fall of man. You've now flipped yourself over. It's the Abba. The opposite. We'll get on to this a bit more with the physiology. This will make even more sense, I hope. But if it doesn't, just pause it, rewind it, or play it over again. Just weigh it up. See what resonates in anything that I say with you. I hope it does. I hope you can get something positive out of this. So, Abraham gets changed, or so Abraham gets changed to Abraham. You'll see where this is going. Now, Ham is a boy's name of Hebrew origin meaning heat or hot. It's the fire inside you. It's the Kundalini rising, basically. Now, interestingly, Ham has another spelling. It's a male name of Egyptian origin, a gift of God. It's Chem, Khem, derived from Latin istunus or iasitus, meaning just, because there's no J in Latin. So it's just, it's a gift of God, it's hot. Abram is also what you put your money on, your moon eye on. It's the conscious left brain, and your divine feminine is your subconscious greater part of the brain. So together you've got your Sarah Abraham, your cerebrum. Now, let's have a look at the word mystic. A person who seeks by contemplation and self-surrender to obtain unity with or absorption, is another absorption, into the deity or the absolute, one who speaks directly with God. Now, is that not meditation? A person who seeks by contemplation, it's about going into meditation. It's just about being, emptying the mind. These are all definitions I've got from just putting in what is the meaning of, and then whatever the word is, or the name is. And just looking at the first few entries on a Google search. So you can look these all up for yourself. So mystic, involving or characterized by esoteric or otherworldly. So we're talking about the metaphysical with this. So when we put it all together, you've got Abraham mystic, Abrahamistic. You've also got another ab word, which is used for illusions and magic. It's called abracadabra. You'll notice in that word you've got the ABCD and it's flipped. So you've got AB in abra. Now you've got CAD, ABRA. It's a little, it's a bit like the double helix. It's flipping backwards and forwards. It's a bit like the sine wave. The sun going from winter to summer and back to winter again. Abracadabra is from Aramaic. Avracadabra. I will create as I speak the word, the sound, the vibration. And from a Hebrew source, Ab means father, Ben means son, and Ruach Akadosh means Holy Spirit. It's your three in one. Sarah in Hebrew means either princess, woman of high rank, happy or joy. It's your subconscious. It doesn't know the difference. It will respond to whatever the conscious mind when they're not working together. So if you have the feeling of I want, I wish, that I'm lacking it, I don't actually have it, then that's what the subconscious will hear. It's the communication in feeling. If you feel like you're in poverty, you'll be given poverty. You bring it all upon yourself from how you think and how you feel, basically. So, somewhere along the line, this has all been muddled up. Now, going back to the Abba Swedish pop group, that song, and Knowing Me, Knowing You, Aha, which is also the title of this video. There is one particular line that stands out in that, but just for those that don't know, Abba is made up of the 4 members of the group, which is, I think it was Agatha, Benny, Bjorn, and the A from Frida, the other female singer. Now there's one particular line when I look through the lyrics, because I thought I'm going to leave over possibly doing a breakdown of that song. It's not really of any that greater importance, but we'll see how the time goes and everything. It won't be on this video. Anyway, so the one line that stood out was, now there's only emptiness, nothing to say. Again, to me, that's allegorical about going into meditation, going into the silence, as Neville Goddard would say, being still, just being. Now, another ab. This just came in meditation. And that is the word abdomen. Another very important ab. Abdomen. It's the opposite, because it's your solar plexus, it's your gut feeling, your abs. It's where you feel everything. You get that instinctive feeling that something is either right or wrong. It's your best guide. But it's that Kundalini rising, so your abdomen goes up. Now, Abraham or Abram comes from something else as well. Without the A on the front, it's Brahmanism. The complex sacrificial religion that emerged in post-Vedic India circa 900 BC under the influence of the dominant priesthood. Brahmins, considered to be the predecessor of Hinduism. Very interesting. You've got a sacrificial religion that is not Ab, it is Brahmanism. Forerunner of Hindu, well, Hindu, hind you, the back quarters, the hind legs, it's the bull worship. It's probably most likely to be the overlay. See, once you move beyond all this nonsense of centering things on this Abrahamistic, and it was all coming from the Middle East, the Medleys, and you move away from the trying to fix things to geographical locations like the Jordan. It's your fluids inside you. You're crossing over the Jordan. You're going into your heavens. You can see where this infection has come in to what is a spiritual truth. You've got also, I think you should, well, I hope you are, you're feeling that spiritual ancestral truth that comes through in the generations, that is generated, that passes in, because you're made up of two biological beings that have been fused together to create one, with the birth of a child from a male and a female. So, the Hindu is definitely a Hindont. It's the bull worship. It's about sacrifice. It's where this overlay has come in. But it is overlaid onto everything. So all the Norse mythology and things, there are parallels to all these stories. And you could take any ancient culture, any ancient belief, and you'll find all these similarities. This is replicated. Let's take something like Enki. In the Anunnaki, you'll see the parallels. It's the fish god, it's the feathered serpent, it's Quetzalcoatl. All these things have the same characteristics. It just depends on whether you're coming from a biblical, from a Norse mythology, from a Vedic or whatever. They're just different terms, different man-made labels for exactly the same thing. So hopefully that has cleared a little bit up, and how this AB, this prefix, because it's revealed in this language, it is a trail. But it's important to not get lost on these trails and just stand back or be the observer and see the bigger picture. Don't get bogged down in trying to work out time and dates and things. We're dealing with a metaphysical which is very much outside of time. One of the most beautiful things that I'm witnessing is it's wonderful to see very individual channels developing, individual creations, personal journeys of your spiritual path. So I want to give a call out to some channels here. So first of all, I mean, that synchronicity with Iridology Diagnosis Solutions and Passing by 33. So 2 channels there, which will benefit your physical vessel alone, just listening to those 2 with this, the Great Lymphatic System video. They're on those channels. It's also in the playlists, and I'll obviously put the link in the description for this one. And Passing by 33, I would just say listen to what Danny is saying. It is one of the simplest messages, and I do like the way he says, his dying message will be go within. What a wonderful message. What a legacy to leave. That's a sort of an immortality in a way, you could say, because you're imprinting, you're leaving a carbon footprint. And again, a lovely explanation is given about where carbon, they're trying to put something silicon in you, but carbon will, under the intense heat, again, the definition of the name Abraham coming out here, and you create that diamond eye. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Diamond, moon, it's your moon eye, it's the money, the moonicky, the monarchy, this material world. Close your eyes to it. Find that internal light within inside you. You'll find the light in the darkness. It's not going to get much darker than within this enclosed system around this third temple, your third kidney, which is your skin, your wine sack. So let's carry on with a channel call out here, recommendations. If you want beautiful words of wisdom, and always a pleasure to listen to, is SNC channel from Christine. Another beautiful channel is my friend Maz Roots channel, and another synchronized moment. She's talking about her interpretation of what aliens are, and she mentioned about pyramids and energy. It just so happens Greg Braden has just done a video on the energy and the findings about energy associated with pyramids. So thought waves, thought currents out in the field, picking up on these things. Maybe I'm being like a link in this one. We're all links in a chain anyway. And my good friend Rosie, Larktarian Cedar channel. She says I've inspired her to make videos, and thank you for that. And she's expressing things in a creative way through art. She's using her talent. She's also a very good musician, and she can dance. For 62 years old, I mean, she's living proof that we can age reverse, which is something Neville Goddard talked about. That the woman that refused to accept that her fiance had died in the First World War, and every day she kept going to the window. She denied this reality. And apparently when she was 80, she still looked like she had a body of a 30-year-old. Immortality, you are an eternal spirit, but you can do it all from the mind. You can age reverse. You can make yourself younger again. It's all about cleaning yourself. And this is why I say, listen to that Iridology Diagnosis Solutions channel. It becomes apparent how much that is told to us that is good for us, and what will make us healthy is actually a complete lie. You have the rise of the fake gurus, and beware of false prophets and things. Well, don't just think that they're going to be people in fancy dress costumes and white collars and things. They have white coats on them as well. They're all false prophets. They're all connected to the material world. You've only got to look at the Hippocratic Oath as it has become. It's been changed, and I think it was 1964. It's been amended that it's contradictory that basically a doctor has power of life and death over you. It's giving authority to something else. That word authority as well, the author, the Ra, Thor, it's where they fused things, this Brahman death cult over the top of Christianity, over the top of European mythology and history. Also Jane Lancaster, beautiful, honest, individual channels, all four of these, and also Niven channel, the work he shows with the Saturn and the cube and so on. It all helps our inner standing if you want to look externally. And whilst it is about doing the inner work, we can help each other. We can give our perspective on things. You take from it the bits that resonate. Just go with your gut feeling. That is your best guide throughout all this. So, what are we up to here? We're up to 30 minutes. I've pretty much covered everything I wanted to do in this. So yeah, just look and listen very carefully to the the absolute, the absolution, the Baal, the AB, BA, ABCD, and the way that is continuously flipped in things. They're just little clues, but I was obviously just given this to speak it out and help share a message. But yeah, just you've got a choice. You have free will. You can keep coming back into this. You can get a new car. You are the engine, effectively. Well, actually, you're more the sort of the oil that runs through it, and you can be put into another car, another vessel. Personally, I would not go with the idea of having the oars of the vessel being docked by a docked oar. They are general practitioners. They are only practicing after all, and they have no inner standing of the spiritual. They are dealing purely and reacting to this physical reality, and they are chasing the tail, as it were. They're dealing with the outcomes instead of going to the root. And again, look at that Great Lymphatic System. That will benefit you greatly. It's that knowing me, knowing you, knowing our physiology. And just to reiterate again about aliens, when we're talking with everything else about the metaphysical, just think about those neural pathways, how they would be very different, how they would look very different to someone who is a absolute psychopath with no remorse compared to an average person who would experience guilt. The way a narcissist will have a very different view of good and bad to most people. And this system is doing it all it can to program you into being that. But with this spiritual growth, things change. Things become distasteful. The normal becomes abnormal. The more you go down this spiritual path, the more you grow, the opposition will appear to be growing, but it's like a computer game. If you've mastered the first 3-4 levels, well, level 5 is not going to be very interesting if it is not a new challenge. So the more you progress on this spiritual journey, the more